Didn't walk out sooner. I'm surprised that you're still in this profession because you were doing it against all odds. The odds are stacked against you and your students. I had one teacher tell me today, I asked her, what are your children's hopes and dreams? And the first thing that came out of her mouth was, my children tell me they feel like they're in jail and they're in grade school. So it shouldn't have come to this, but it came to this for a reason. And that is because even though we're in the numerical majority for people who support education, at the end of the day, it comes down to turnout and elections. And what you are witnessing, what you have the privilege, because not everyone can take the time. Not everyone can, you guys couldn't come here because this is all while you're working hard, killing yourselves in your classroom. And so what you have done is you've created the space to come here and see what we've been doing behind closed doors, even in front of the public. And you need to go back to your communities and you need to tell everyone what you witnessed. Because this is your firsthand experience. This is what you saw and heard with your own eyes, and you are educators. When I campaigned last year, there were so many issues facing the state, but the one issue that I talked about in every single door was education, because the voters get it. They get it. So after this, you've shown up thousands, tens of thousands strong here. After this, you need to ask yourself, where am I showing up next? And if it's not your neighbor's door, and if it's not the neighborhood over, and the neighborhood over, if you are not taking this experience and telling every single voter out there what just happened, then all this will be for nothing.
Amen.
And I just want to reiterate, the voters are with you. In my district, we increased voter turnout 30%. That means that 30% of people who weren't voting, we showed up and asked them to vote, and they saw someone they could believe in. Not because I was a candidate, but because I was a neighbor and I was someone who believed in them. You guys are educators. You believe in your children. Believe in your community, and if you have those one-on-one conversations with them over and over and over again in the what's the word I'm looking for? Miserable heat. You will transform this state. And this isn't just a theory. This isn't just what I think. Empirical evidence based on the direction Arizona's heading, but what we've seen in the other states, what we saw in Arizona Congressional District 8, when we show up, people who share our values have their voices heard in the process that's most important in our democracy, and that's our elections. So my question to you is, after tomorrow's over and it's early Thursday morning and we're all like in this collective and we're like, what happened? Oh my gosh, this was the biggest slumber party I've ever been to. Where are you showing up next? Because that's what's going to matter, and that's what it's going to come down to.
I'm determined that teachers don't realize the hundreds of thousands of us that there are in Arizona, only 1 in 3 of us show up to the polls. So politicians looked out on the streets, and they weren't nearly as impressed because 1 out of 3 of the people out there are likely to show up and vote. So we have to change that. If we start showing up and we pull one of our friends with us just to vote, everything you just said will come true. And thank you for that.
Thank you. And your peers, make sure your fellow colleagues are registered to vote. The power of young people is amazing.
Yeah.
Your high school students, passionate about the gun reform, they've already registered in this month and a half. They've already registered 2,000-3,000 students to vote. So they're doing their part. So register your colleagues, make sure every single educator is registered to vote, encourage them to show up to the polls, and go into your neighborhoods to go talk to voters, and there's technical ways to do that in the background. You're probably like, do I knock on every door? Like, how does that? No. Like, it's all data driven. But get plugged in and get involved in this election cycle. I'm not going to tell you which side. You can decide. I saw the grades that you're making. You can go based on your grades, right? But that's where I hope the next stop for you guys is. And just thank you. Thank you. I hear you. I feel your struggle in my heart. And you made this legislature, this session, about the right issue, which is education. So thank you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Thank you.